Minha we backers. Leke mi fondo there. Ilia. Enyo. So today we are with someone really special here in Rwanda. And we call him Marlon, the African dandy. Is that right?
The dandy African.
Dandy African.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the best way.
Ross, you won't find me on Instagram. The dandy African.
Okay. So Marlon, thank you for being with us today. So for me, I've been knowing you because you are doing many things here in Rwanda. You created such a big community, and which is doing crazy thing, amazing thing. But people, they will know more about you during this interview. So for those who don't know me, my name is Messon Frederick Akakpobi, also known as Mensa. So I created the Way Back to Africa. This organization aims to help Africans and African descent to come back to the continent. And so today we are with someone who came back to the continent. He has Jamaican origins. You are Jamaican basically, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. And he decided to come back to the continent. So if you are interested in this topic, you should do 3 things. The first one is like the video. It's really important for the referencing and that people, they can find this video. The second one is to share around you with people who are interested in this topic. And the last thing, please join also our community, subscribe to our channel. So Marlon, can we start the video?
Yes, Mensa, please, brother.
How do you feel today?
I feel great, man. You know, it's a blessing to wake up in Africa.
Okay.
And I've rarely said that when I lived in the West.
Yeah.
Yes, I was born in Jamaica, but I grew up in America.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had many experiences in various fields, various sectors, and just really creating opportunities. You know, I feel blessed to even be alive because you know, certain things that life presents to you, many people don't survive, you know, in my position. And so I decided a while back that, you know, you can't help where you're born, but you can help where you end up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if I have the opportunity to come back home to the continent, and I don't necessarily say this country, that country, what have you, but, you know, obviously in today's times, you have to pick somewhere. So that choice for me was quite clear based on my research, and that turned out to be the lovely country of Rwanda. So for me to be back home here now, I just feel great. I feel inspired. I feel that we can do a lot together, yeah, and collectively make impact for the continent for now and future generations.
Okay, very interesting. So you say many things I'm going to get back on. So you said that when you were in the West, you were not so grateful for being alive, kind of. So why are you saying that? It was like you did not feel being where you should be. It was like maybe like a too stressful life. What was the reason that made you feel like not as good as you are now on the continent?
Sure. You know, as a Pan-African now, I didn't really understand fully about even what that meant before. So even though I'm from Jamaica, and Jamaica is home to many great Pan-Africans, even the great Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Exactly.
That's like, you know, like considered by many to be the father of Pan-Africanism.
Exactly.
Obviously Bob Marley and so many other, from reggae musicians to Rastafarian scholars that you might not know their names, but they helped a lot in the movement. You know, they help inspire people, such as the Honorable Kwame Nkrumah, first president of Ghana. They help inspire these movements and revolutions, you know, so to speak. So when I was in America growing up, I felt like, you know, kind of like not in my own skin. And what I mean by that is coming from Jamaica, as a youth, I had on my paperwork, a resident alien. And as you grow and learn more things, and you're like, wait, an alien is something that people fear. An alien is something that people...
It was written on your ID.
On my green card, yes.
Alien. But yeah. What is the meaning of alien? It's like
other. You are other.
Yeah.
You'll never be us.
Yeah.
You are other.
Yeah.
And you might live here, but you're other that lives here. And at the time, immigration wasn't as aggressive as you see it now. So in your face, and we don't like these people, and these people we don't want in the US, you know, these kinds of things. But that kind of language can have an effect on a young person when they say that, oh, my friends are all American. and I'm a resident alien, right? And then later on, I changed my Jamaican passport to a U.S. passport, but it still said born in Jamaica. So no one lets you forget who you are or where you are. And, I would have it no other way. I'm not trying to distance myself from Jamaica at all. Actually, Jamaicans are very proud people, if you know. But I just mean, to be growing up somewhere as a young person and have friends all from that place, and then you're the one that stands out. You're the one that talks a little bit different. You're the one that acts a little bit different because in your household, you eat this and your family does this. And then you go out to these other events and you have to kind of blend in and start eating hot dogs and hamburgers, kind of thing. And you're just like, okay, well, like, you want to fit in. You don't want to be made fun of. You don't want to be ostracized. You don't want to be an alien. So that's what I mean by that. Like, you don't really feel at home, supposedly at home.
It's super interesting what you are saying. And it was written resident alien, and you were born in Jamaica. So when did you left Jamaica? You were like what, 2 years old, 3 years old, and then you spent all your life in the US.
Right.
And about that, your first feeling was not like, okay, if they think that I'm not American or I don't feel like I belong there, like in the US, maybe I should go back to Jamaica, or it was straightforward, no, I want to come back to the motherland. What was your thought initially?
So my family moved to the U.S. when I was 4, and yes, I was raised in the States. I would say it's hard to pinpoint the exact moment in time. I said, oh, there's this place called Africa, but I'd say hip hop kind of helped me with that, hip hop culture, because I was born in 1980, and hip hop is pretty much 50 years old now, so like in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, like this movement started. And one of the pioneers of hip hop music and culture was Kool Herc, and Kool Herc is a Jamaican. So there's always been this crossover of Jamaican street culture and American street culture, especially in New York. Because in New York, there's a place called Queens, and Jamaica Queens. So that's roughly where my family lived around. Yeah, so we'd still have the influence of Jamaica on a daily basis. We still have the food and the aromas and the music and the sayings. If you know what I mean, like Jamaican parents are full of wisdom, let's say. At the time, you're just like, oh, okay. But it's full of clever sayings that will help you through your life, as we say here. Oh boy, every mickle make a muckle, which means every little bit that you save makes more. Every mickle, little bit, makes a muckle, makes more. Yeah? We're little but we're talawa. We're small but we're big. Even that's Jamaica's national saying. We're little but we're talawa. There's loads, guys, there's loads. Check in the comments down below. If you know some too, or some African proverbs, please, down below. I'm sure we relate Jamaica and Africa, same.
Okay. So, but yeah, so the music, the culture, all of that,
Yes, and we'd go back every summer as well. My parents are both still so we'd go back to Jamaica each summer. Both my parents were educators in Jamaica. My father was a principal and my mother was a nurse. And then when we came to America, they got different jobs because they couldn't really support a young family on those salaries in America. Yeah. But that educator perspective was still with them. So they're like, we need to have our kids know about Jamaica. So we'd go back every summer, visit my grandmother, we'd all bathe in the river, kind of thing. So it was a very humble upbringing, a very real upbringing, like nature and real things. We weren't sitting inside watching TV. We were outside barefoot running with all the other kids that are growing up in Jamaica.
Was it in Kingston or in the countryside?
I was born in Kingston, but because that was the main hospital back then, Kingston General Hospital. But I grew up more so in the countryside in terms of my parentage. My mother's parents and my father's parents, both country people. And yeah, seeing that real life, like I remember one of my both grandmothers had outdoor kitchens, outdoor bathrooms, and in America, here we are living the life. But again, you're a kid, you don't know levels of poverty. You don't even know that you're poor. Yeah. You're just, everyone around me is the same, so we're all in it together, right? But then going to Jamaica and just seeing people that have less, but they're happy. Yeah, like those kids we used to play with and my cousins and everybody in the neighborhood was just happy, you know, and running around and just being kids. You know, we were free to do that. Even, you know, Jamaica was a much, it was a very happy place. You know, I think nowadays you hear in the news a bit of violence happening and these kinds of things, and it's unfortunate because it's such a beautiful island. But, you know, same with Africa, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit, but, you know, there's always pros and cons to everywhere, you know, in every situation. And in your youth, you kind of don't know about the cons. You just know this is my life.
Okay, okay. And so you were like really, I think you are still attached a lot to Jamaica.
For sure.
So what made you feel like, okay, Jamaica is home, but it's not where I want to end up? You were saying it right at the beginning of the interview. You said that you don't choose where you were born, but you choose where you want to end up.
Yes.
So why you would like to end up in Africa, especially in Rwanda, than in Jamaica or in the US? In the US, I could understand right now. I think you told us already a lot, but for Jamaica, what would be like the experience you got there and the experience you have now in Africa that makes the difference, according to you?
Number one, Jamaica, love you, my people, love you. Yeah, so don't get me twisted. And I'll go back to Jamaica. I'll do some business there. I'll invest there. Because today we can't reverse everything. We're talking close to 500 years of displacement of African peoples globally. So we can't rewrite all of that, not by any means or any stretch. So Africa is a global place now. We are all over the world. You know, Brazil has the second most amount of Africans in the world after Nigeria, you know, in terms of one country. But for the most part, like, they're voiceless because of Portuguese, I suppose, you know, so colonization plays a heavy part. Now, when I think about Jamaica, many people might not even know in terms of the influence per capita, per population. So for the population Jamaica has, it's culturally one of the most influential places in the world.
How many people are living in Jamaica?
Jamaica has about 2.5 million people.
Yeah, it's not so many, but so many people are known from Jamaica.
Right. So if you think about that, you know, there must be something in the water or something in the food, you know, as we say. Because, Jamaica has produced many outstanding individuals, men and women, and artists and craftspeople and musicians and doctors and nurses and poets and you name it, you know, have like come out of that small island. But again, you have to remember, 2.5 million people only. But we have to remember as well that the brain drain in Africa is real. So because of transatlantic slave trade, colonization, etc., not only the biggest and strongest people were taken,
but
the best and brightest were taken as well. And ones that were doing crafts. It's not like Europeans came to Africa and found us all in the mud. You know, we were creating ironworks, we were creating buildings and architecture and structures, we were farming, we were doing all these things. So they said, right, this tribe is good at this and they've lost in this war. So what have you, then the displacement starts to move around, and let's say. So those people that where they got dropped off the boat, let's say, in terms of the Caribbean, those were some of the, as the story goes, the most rebellious amongst us. Right, there's someone called Nanny, who was the queen of the Maroons, and they lived in the highlands of Jamaica, and they would always have battles in terms of struggles with the colonizers. They didn't just give up and throw their hands up and say, okay, take our bodies, take our minds. They said, we're going to fight you, and they fought for their freedom. And the Maroons still to this day have their own community in Jamaica, and this happened all over the Caribbean. Obviously, the most famous example is Haiti, which actually fought and won their independence, the first black nation in the world. The first successful rebellion in the world to this day that it has its own country. And as we see, a lot of things happen to Haiti, which is why they're in the situation that they're in, but definitely not only self-inflicted. Colonization had a lot to do with that. So when I think about these things, I'm like, Africa is over 1 billion people. The median age is below 18. And I feel I can have an impact, a greater impact here, if I start here, than I can have just in the Caribbean. I feel I would be a bit isolated, a bit geographically limited, And with Africa, I just feel limitless. I feel there's so much to do on this continent. I feel there's so much to share. There's so much to learn, you know, because it's not just a one-way relationship. It's a two-way relationship. I'm being just as impacted as I'm trying to impact. So yeah, that's why I feel Africa, there's a lot more for me to do, and this is where I've been called to be. So I'm just trying to be obedient to the ancestors and to those who came before us and fought and died for us to even be sitting here today.
So, okay, you made your research and you were like, okay, I'm going to make more impact on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
You choose a country which is, many people are saying that it is small, but it's one of the most, with the most density of the continent,
Mm-hmm.
with 13 million people, inhabitants, which is 6 times bigger than
Jamaica.
Yeah. And you came back to Rwanda for the first country you visited in Africa, or before you started with, let's say for example Ghana, because Ghana was doing a lot, calling back African descent to the continent.
Yeah.
Did you start with another country, or you start with Rwanda and you were like, okay, no, this is the place I want to be?
Sure. The first place I have been to in Africa was Egypt, formerly known as Kemet in ancient history. And of course, you know, you hear these stories about Egypt for time immemorial, you know, the pyramids and the pharaohs and just this great civilization on the Nile River Valley. So I really wanted to experience that and feel that. So yeah, I went to Egypt and I got a chance to visit the pyramids and also ride my first camel. Its name was Moses, interestingly enough. So it took me there.
Marcus Mosiah. No, isn't Mosiah? No, it's Marcus Garvey. I think his name in the middle, but it was his
Mosiah.
His nickname, Mosiah, because the Black Moses.
Yeah, again, because you're gonna lead your people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty much what that means. So I took that kind of like as a you know, case in point. Like, you know, here I am, and the metaphor of that is, wow, like here is this animal like named Moses that's leading me to my new journey in life. Yeah.
When was that?
Oh boy, 2006, 2007, around then.
Yeah, it has been almost 20 years now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I then started going to Kenya. Big shout out to Kenya. Love you guys. I've been there several times. Nairobi, a bit of the coast as well. Tanzania, South Africa. And now Rwanda. I haven't physically been to West Africa yet, but as I said about research and to the level of storytelling, you really feel that when you are so immersed in something, you feel like you have been there. Yeah, like I tell people, like when I talk, people say, wow, you must have been there and there. You must have been so many countries. I'm like, not physically yet, but when I do get there, it won't be a surprise to me. It won't be a shock to me because I'm ready for it. So yeah, in terms of traveled, we need to do a lot more, and we pray for long life and blessings to be able to spread more impact.
Yeah. So you've been to all these countries. You said like Egypt, Kenya, South Africa,
Tanzania,
but you choose Rwanda.
Yes.
Why? And when was that?
Yes. So Rwanda, COVID. Dun dun dun. Prior to Rwanda, I was living in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates for over 10 years, and yeah, I was doing various things there, reinventing myself, to be honest, many times, and it's kind of like a long bridge to get home, sort of thing. Like now I can look back at it and clearly see what I was doing there. I tell people all the time, when you're so close to a situation, and you guys are watching, you can do this experiment yourself. You put your hand to your face, touch your nose with your palm, and you try to count the lines in your hand. It's pretty much impossible because your eyes start to cross and it's all blurry, right? Then as you slowly back it away, the picture forms, and then you can count, which means that the closer you are to a situation, the less you can really know what the situation is. Yeah. That's why they say the elephant in the room. Yeah, exactly. The room's small and the elephant's big, so you can't really see there's an elephant in the room. It's too big.
There's a saying, French saying that la tête dans le guidon, so it means that when you are driving a bike and you are just like this, you are just your face is just straight, but you don't see what is on the left and the right side. So yes, you have to take some, just move a little bit
Yeah, yeah. Take more survey. Yeah. The bigger picture. So yeah, why Rwanda? Because I feel like Rwanda is such a special country. You know, because I've been able to look at it from afar. Sure, the first time I've heard of Rwanda was you know, during 1993, 1994 time period. You know, I was a teenager at the time, but I could understand that this is somewhere that the people are better than what's happening to them, and nothing is just black and white, and no story is so easy to explain. And when you look into it more, many things happened prior, right, in terms of the 1950s. And whatever other trauma that peoples are carrying with them, you know, from colonization and displacement of peoples, and maybe even Western overlords giving certain privilege to others. Now, when you look at the ramifications that came from that, obviously just horrible, heinous things that humanity shouldn't experience anymore. However, looking at the country today, just a little more than 30 years ago, it's made a complete U-turn. A complete U-turn. It's not even like, just like, oh, you know, it's kind of better. This is one of the best countries in the world, like I'm saying. And when I say that to people that haven't been here, they say, yeah, but what about da-da-da? You know, how can, like, their GDP is this and people only make this amount of money. And I'm like, it's not about money. You can't measure happiness based on money. Because like I said about growing up, we didn't know that we were poor in Jamaica. We didn't know we were poor in America. We were just happy, right? Because our parents gave us that kind of upbringing, that be appreciative of what you have. And I feel like to start to reverse and heal from what happened here in Rwanda, the leadership really had to look at things like a parent, and like a benevolent parent, right? Because just because you're a man or woman and have a baby doesn't mean you care. So this had to be benevolent and intentional leadership, showing that we're going somewhere together, right? To the Kumwe. And we can't just do this with you're in your own pocket and you're in your own pocket. We all have to join hands and fix the situation, right? Admit there is a problem, number one. Admit what happened here. Have those face-to-face of like, I did this, I did that, I'm sorry. And not just one time, continue to do that, right? But even with the other side, not necessarily just finger pointing, right? Because you can't heal in that way either. We have to see this country is for all Rwandans, and then furthermore, as they're being so generous to open up to persons like myself, you know, that have now become residents and true lovers of Rwanda. I just feel that people are so resilient to have gone through what they've gone through and still be here. Not that there's no animosity or what have you, but from people's actions, yeah, you just see that sense of community and togetherness. Even they have a day here called Umuganda. And Umuganda,
which is today.
Which just happens to be today, exactly, yeah. So it's the last Saturday of the month, and the community gets together and they talk about issues in the local communities first on a local level, and also clean up the community. That's why Rwanda is one of the cleanest countries in the world as well, one of the safest. So the accolades go on. So it's a complete 180 from the situation that it was in before. And I thought to myself, if I can grow with a place like that, I'm going to be much better of a person.
So it was during the COVID time you made this decision. You made your own research. You came here, and you were like, okay, I'm going to stay here. So now it's been almost 4 or 5 years.
5 years now. 2020 really drove me to do it, because I said even before when I was in Dubai, a lot of my friend groups started to be from the continent. Quite a bit of Uganda. When I meet Ugandans, they're like, oh, you have to have been Uganda. You know all of our celebrities, all the musicians. I know them because they came to Dubai and played. And we used to book shows in Dubai. So I had a very good friend from Uganda. He was a DJ, and he said, trust me, the Ugandan community will support. And we started to book these guys. They came over, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what a chameleon was, or a radio and weasel, or like, you know, these names some of you guys know as like your big heroes. Now they then became friends of mine as they came over, and you know, we still remember them today. So as that started to happen, I've always talked in this kind of way, matter-of-factly, and then later on more so for the continent, and not only for myself and just black people in general, because I realized that if where you're from, where your lineage is from, is not respected, you will never be respected, no matter where you are in the world. You can think, oh, I'm in the West and I have a 6-7 figure paying job. I'm different now. Okay. Okay. You'll see when you get in problem how different the ruling class treats you. Yeah, because those places will never be ours. Yeah, in Jamaica we have a term, it's called conquered land. Even we consider Jamaica conquered land because we were brought there as African peoples.
How do you say it?
Conquered land.
Conquered land.
Conquered land. So it can never be yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Africa is the only place for us.
Yeah.
That's why Marcus Garvey said, Africa for Africans, at home and abroad.
Yeah.
Africa for Africans.
So
Yeah?
that's what one of his teaching also is that, yeah, as long Africa is poor, but you told us also about like being poor, it's like relative, but as long Africa is poor, Africans won't be respected anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
That's what he was saying.
Exactly. And we've seen with so many other cultures, you know, from the Italians to the Irish to the Jewish to the you know, you name it. Indians, you know, even when they leave India and go abroad anywhere, they form communities. They form relationships with each other so that they can insulate themselves from other in this new place that they're in. Yeah, and usually that helps them to excel in this new place they're in. Unfortunately, the way that Africa was colonized and socialized became an instance of trust other more than you trust brother. Yeah, so...
is it from you, this one? Trust other more than you trust brothers.
I kind of just said it, yeah. So yeah, write that down. You know, so like there's this innate distrust between Africans when we even like just meet each other. I have no reason to not trust you, but innately I'm like, what are you up to? As opposed to like, yeah, cool. You're here, I'm here, let's do something together, right? And I think that's the feeling that and the condition that we must overcome. We must intentionally overcome that. I've started saying something else, you know, as recently as last year, which is Africa first. Africa first. That doesn't mean you don't like anybody else or what have you, but why not put yourself first? There's nothing wrong with that. America says America first. Europe practices Europe first, right? You can see with all their policies and what have you. And obviously China is China first. Nothing else matters to them but the upliftment of China, and which they've been admirably able to do, to lift over 1 billion people out of poverty. That's crazy. So it can be done, but it takes focus and it takes us joining together and under one doctrine of Africa first.
Yeah, yeah. So since you've been here, you are talking a lot about this idea of community. You've been also in South Africa, so I think you know about Ubuntu.
Of course,
like I am because you are. So coming together. Since now, I think, when you came to Rwanda, it was your idea initially? You were like, okay, I'm going to go to Rwanda and I'm going to create this community, or it took you sometimes before coming to this result? Because what I can see, because I'm now in one of your group, one of friend of mine recommended it to me. Yeah, it's true that you are like so wide and there's so many people. I think it's one of the biggest community here in Rwanda in terms of sharing opportunities in real estate, in jobs also, and there's so many sectors. So how did you do that, and how it works? How it works? Is it what gives you money, or you are doing this for free? Tell us more about that, please.
Thank you for that question. It's a very important question, because why do people do what they do? They say the definition of work is trading your time for money. If that's the case, I don't work. I make impact. And as a storyteller and a Pan-African storyteller, intentional to the purpose, I feel like my payment is how many people that the platform impacts. And not just the platform, but even who I'm personally able to speak with and share a relationship with, and even just a kind word. You know, sometimes it just takes a second to change someone's day, even their life. Like, wow, that person thinks like that? It's possible? I can think like that. Yeah, let me try to figure out how they got to that position or what have you. So with the groups, actually, it's something that I've been intentionally developing, even when I was in Dubai. I felt that how do we create unity? How do we reverse what's been done to us? Because see, African peoples have a collective trauma. It's not just, oh, you were in this country, you experienced this, I experienced this, you weren't even on the continent, you were in Jamaica, you were in Haiti, you were in the Americas, so you experienced things differently. our differences are much smaller than our sameness. And I think that it's high time that we tap into the sameness. We've been forced about differences for so long. Even if you think about how we trade with each other, the continent of Africa trades the least amount with itself than any other continent in the world. And we're talking under 15%, right? From Asia to Europe to the Americas, well over 50 to 60%, keeping the money inside the continent. So that's what's so important about that. If we're sending 8 of every $10 outside, what are we really developing? And that's why we have such a catch-up to do in terms of development and having to always ask for aid. Even that's been something that's infiltrated our minds, saying that we need others, even though we have the most abundant riches here on the continent. From the soil itself, well, let's start with the people. The people are so abundant and rich in their potential. And then we have the soil itself, some of the most arable, rich land in the world. The minerals, the most amount of minerals concentrated on one continent on Earth. So we have the ability to do all these things, and now it's time to think, okay, how do we make finished products? How do we start to export things collectively from here? First take care of ourselves. Yeah? On the plane, they say, put your mask on first before you help the person next to you. Because by the time you're trying to get that mask on that person next to you, you've run out of air. Yeah. And we have to look at it as that urgent. We're running out of air. So we have to help ourselves, Africa first, then we can reach out to the rest of the world with our bounty of riches that we've been blessed with. Instead of just saying, yes, everyone come in and take our things, then we have nothing. We've been doing that for too long, and now we know better. You know, and for those that know better must do better. So I don't think this is a political aspiration. I think it's a human aspiration. And as particular African humans, I think we need to tap into ourselves and say, we deserve our birthright, which is right here on the continent. So let's improve our birthright. Let's not run away. Let's not keep on wanting to check if the ice is colder on the other side, because it's not. I've been there. It's not colder. Actually, people say, wow, everything's so natural there. It's so green. It's so rich. We want to come visit. But we heard this, we heard that, we heard that. How many shots do we have to get? Is like malaria everywhere? I'm going to catch Ebola when I step off the plane? And that's why I say narrative telling. So if the narratives that Westerners have heard about, and like even other Africans in the West have heard about Africa as negative, they will not want to come. They will not want to invest. They will not want to travel. They will not want to put this in their mind that Africa is a good place to, not only live, but to start off with, to visit, to even read about it and look up and find out why the issues are happening. Because there's always a why. And I say follow the money. And you'll very soon discover why things are the way they are anywhere in the world, to be honest. But definitely with Africa, because like I said, the riches are here. So if someone is trying to infringe upon that and make you less knowledgeable about what you have, we have to put the education back in ourselves to know we have it here. We don't have to go somewhere else to get a better life. Let's challenge ourselves, and that's everybody from the bus driver to leadership in every country in Africa. Let's challenge ourselves to be better. And I don't think that's a hard thing to ask. Africa first. 2 words, very easy to say. And then if you practice that with Ubuntu, Pamoja, Turukumwe, then we'll truly get there.
Yeah. So that's what you are doing, so congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
You add your calling, as you said, that now you are in the continent, you are doing what you were called to do. And but just as a human being also, I think you have this mission which is in you, and I think you are doing it right. But in terms of maybe like leaving your friends, your family, your parents, I think everyone is maybe in the US right now, or in Jamaica, also in Dubai. So all these people, they are abroad. So you started here, you start all over. Yes, you just restart your life here.
Yeah.
So is it not something which is hard? And you're like, sometimes I might come back to the other side.
Yeah. Whew. That's such a loaded question, and some family's going to see this, some friends are going to see this.
You have to be careful.
No, I just have to take the Band-Aid off right away.
Yeah.
I love you guys, but I'm on a mission, and I'm doing what needs to be done. When people say, oh yeah, when are you coming back to visit? I've already been there. What am I coming to visit?
They are the one who should come.
You come see me in a new place, and the new me, because I'm not who I was when I was there. I'm a new person. I'm a new creature. So being here now as a new creature, this is someone that you have to relearn. Me going back to old places, which I've tried, it's still the same. It's as if it's been frozen in time. America, Dubai even. As much as Dubai moves fast, it's the same thing repeating though. Another tall building, another island, another fast Lamborghini. What value is there, really, like that we're creating? However, Africa, because everything is catching up and feeling a bit new, there's excitement here all the time, especially in this country. Like we see so many things happening here. I'll jump back to the question about just my relationships with people. Again, you know, I love my family, you know, real friends. I love real friends, you know, that have been there for me and done things for me, and that we've done things together and built each other, you know, because it was always symbiotic. And even those conversations and people that challenge you and just like very brilliant people I've met along the way that have helped me in my life to know what I know and move how I move. For sure, I say thank you, you know. But if you love somebody, you have to let it go. Yeah, and if it's meant for you, it'll come back. Yeah, in this life or the next. And that's how I look at it. But, you know, I'm only one person and I can only be one place at a time. And so I choose intentionally to be home in Africa. And I feel like the more of us that commit our bodies, our time, our IP, our intellectual property, our gifts to Africa, we're going to fast track this development, this redemption, right? Because like I said, we're collectively traumatized, so we have to collectively redeem ourselves. And that's what I'm here for, to show that I'm not just talking from afar on my soapbox. Hey, free Africa, da 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 da, you know, like people doing, you know, protest in the West about someplace else. When to be honest, they should be protesting about their own country, because no one's perfect, and they've got enough problems of their own. That's why Marcus Garvey said, Africa for Africans. We need to worry about us for once. Right? Not saying anyone else is less, but we need to worry about ourselves. When will we worry about home? Because at the end of the day, what else matters? Yeah? I feel so, again, blessed and empowered when I look around, from the cab driver on up to the ministers and the doctors and the teachers and the lawyers and the janitors and the president, of course, is black. Everybody. And this is a benevolent leadership that says, we want the best for that. Even though I might not live to see this development that I'm doing for my people, we're going to start it now. We're not going to wait 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to do something and just be talking. Like, I'm sorry, African Union. That just has a lot of fancy meetings and nothing happens. Rwanda, things get discussed and they happen. And that's what leadership means. Not just talk about something, but put your money where your mouth is and action things. And that's what I see here. So I just feel inspired to be a part of this, that I can be inspired by leadership, say something myself because I'm empowered to do that, and then take action and actually have impact.
I think it's true what you are saying also, because yeah, I've been there also like 3 years ago, and the same Kigali I'm seeing now is not the same Kigali I saw like 3 years ago. It's moving fast. I think you are living in this neighborhood we call Gishushu,
yes,
which is really well located, and I think also you saw so many change since you've been in Rwanda.
And it's a local neighborhood. Yeah, I need to say that really quickly, because we have what's called white saviors. Yeah, and that's the likes of the NGOs and the social media influencers that come here and go to a village with some African children and they say, oh, look what I've done, you know, kind of thing. I did this, I did that, I helped build a well. You know, thank you. But that kind of thinking, like I'm gonna come and save Africa, is not what we need. We need partners, right? So you can also have black saviors that have that kind of same mindset. In America, I did this. In Europe, we do it like this. So I'm gonna go there and show people how to do it like this. Again, we need partners. Understand Africa, and then come with your open mind and collective wisdom, and then let's join together for that. So I say that this neighborhood that I live in is a local neighborhood. I'm probably the only one that speaks fluent English all around me. People just call me Rasta Rasta, and then we nod and wave and Google Translate, you know, to communicate. But it's worth it. It's worth it, you know, because you can see the smiles on the people's faces that you're trying, and that you're not behind a gated community, you know, because you're Western and you can afford to be.
Maybe
Yeah.
just one special mention
Please.
that in Rwanda, in Kigali, I think at least, gated communities are forbidden. So the idea is like, yeah, to create an open city, and then you don't create this kind of space. There is some of them because they were like from the past
Before.
and they've been done before. But if today you want to create a gated community, it's 100% forbidden. So yes, that's the kind of mindset. So people like they are going to be together, as you said, like
Yes.
to recommend.
Yes. Yeah, and you know, in this neighborhood, we're very central, you know, as well. The airport's about 12 minutes away. Center City, you know, the CBD is about 15 to 20 minutes away. What we call RDB, which is a very, it's an institution that works, right? Rwanda Development Board. You can open a business in less than a day, you know, which is unheard of, not just in Africa but in the world. You know, you can open a business in less than a day, you know, with very little bureaucracy and red tape. And also the convention center, which is our icon, you know, of the country, which is in the shape of a traditional King's Palace, you know, which is why it is that shape. So everything is very close to me. So I feel like it's almost like radiation, you know, like a ripple radiating out. And then I want to connect that to the position of Rwanda to Africa, because where Rwanda is on the map, if you all look at that at home, it's in the middle of the continent. So whatever happens here is going to radiate out like a ripple. So I'm so happy that the energy of productivity and sharing and forgiveness and all these lessons that have come out of the dark past of Rwanda are emanating outwards. And I was in a business here that we were doing real estate. We were doing short-term real estate, right? You guys call Airbnbs or what have you. So I'd meet a lot of travelers coming in, and from sure, you know, people from the West, but I really loved when I met either a person of African descent that came to visit, or someone from another country in Africa. And they all had similar things to say about Rwanda, especially like those from other African countries, that we wish our leadership was like Rwanda's. Not that any specific person is not capable, because political will takes intentionality. So any leader is capable of having political will, but are you ready to do it? Are you ready to say, yes, this is for the people, and I'm here to work for the people, not myself? That's a bold position to take when all your peers around you are stuffing their pockets, right? And so for you to say, no, I'm going to give this to the people because it belongs to them. They've tasked me to lead them in this effort to empower them and their children and their children's children. And that's a big responsibility. So that's why I say, wow, Rwanda is so intentional about the things that they do. And if you look around, it's like tick, 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 airline. Rwanda Air is one of the best airlines now. Also partner with Qatar Air, you know, which is one of the best airlines in the world. Promoting sports teams, yeah, from abroad, because that visibility on those sports teams' uniforms brings back tourism revenue to the country, which is shared with the people. So if you don't have many resources, which Rwanda is a small country, landlocked, that doesn't have many resources, no access to the ocean, use what you have. Play to your strengths. And I believe the leadership has really found that out, of how to play to their strengths in a excellent manner, because they continue to do it over and over and over again. We have a new sports area that has a beautiful stadium, the Amahoro Peace Stadium. Next to that is the BK Arena, Banco Kigali Arena. And next to that is the brand new development, Zaria Court, which has a hotel, sports facilities, lifestyle facilities, etc., to bring people, again, community together. And so this level of even middle class is coming about in Rwanda. And if you guys understand anything about middle class, that's what helps any country to be financially stable and successful, a strong middle class. Rich people don't spend money. Wealthy people do not spend money. They spend your money. That's why they stay wealthy. That's why that saying goes, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because the poor don't invest and the rich take from you. So we just all think that this is just a crazy thing we can never escape. You can if you understand it. If we start to invest in ourselves, then we'll rise. And that's what's happening here in this country. I'm seeing more and more. I've only been here 5 years, and I see things changing already. So I can just imagine another 5 years. It's just so exciting to be in pole position to make impact along with this.
Yeah. Many times I'm seeing also in the channel that for me, being here right now in Rwanda is like being maybe in Singapore like 30 years, 40 years ago, or maybe in Dubai 30 years ago.
Right.
Not at the very beginning, but yeah, and you see like things moving so fast, and you're like, okay, if I'm part of this right now, after that we will see the result and we'll be proud to be part of this journey. So, Mr. Marlon.
Yes, my brother.
The African dandy?
The dandy African.
Oh my God.
Try both of them.
Okay. So Marlon.
Yes, bro.
The dandy African.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us, sharing all this experience of yours, and sharing how it is really important for African descent to come back to the motherland and to do what they are called for. I don't know if you know the saying from Thomas Sankara, saying that each generation has a mission. So everyone has to do one task. I think it's not the right translation, but you will forgive me. So you can either do it or either betray it. And I think now you're just doing it. So congratulations to you, my brother. And I will conclude this interview with one of your advice. What would be your main advice for someone who would like also to come back to the continent? Maybe he's also Jamaican. Maybe he's also living in the US. He was living in the US. He's living in the US like you were. Maybe he's from the West Indies. Maybe he's in France like I was. Or maybe he's from another country in Africa. And he wants to come back to the continent. So please, what will be your main advice for this person?
You're welcome back home. We miss you. We miss you. You are welcome back home, however, come with the right mindset. Again, I continue to mention this brother because he's so significant, and I think he doesn't get his due enough. The Honorable Messiah Garvey said that many people of African descent are, and I'll kind of soften a little bit. He said useless, but I'll kind of soften a little bit for you guys. Are not conducive.
Yeah. Maybe give the right like quote and that.
Just say it how it is, and I'll break it up for you. All right. So what would I say to someone that wants to come back home, or that maybe doesn't have that desire, but maybe this interview can change their mind a little bit? I would say you're welcome back home here in Africa. Africa is your home. Africa is your birthright. The Honorable Messiah Garvey said that many of us of African descent are, to be honest, a bit useless in the West, and you'll be even more useless in Africa. And what that means, I think I'll soften a little bit for you guys, that the West is a place of great finished product and resource wealth. Africa is a place of raw resource wealth and unfinished imported products. So if you can't if you can't thrive in the West, which is a place of abundance, and work together and collaborate and love each other, then you'll do worse here in a place that it takes harder effort to get going and understand languages of some place you haven't heard before, and people with culture that you probably haven't seen before but might look like you, but they do things differently. You'll have a harder time being empathetic towards that. You'll want to impress your will upon that. And that's what I mean about black saviors. We don't need that either. Africa needs partners. So if you're ready to be a partner and an open mind and to fill your heart with you, because we are you and you are us, then Africa is for you. And I would say, you know, don't make any rash decisions. Come and visit. Come and visit first. Come and taste the water and feel that it is clean, it is fresh water, it is beautiful environment, it is blue skies and greenery, it is beautiful smiling people, you know. Again, there's levels to everywhere, even where you are. So don't try to paint Africa with one paintbrush. This is a multitude of people, languages, cultures, civilizations, history. Just come and experience and see. We got you.
Wow. Wow. Frankly speaking, Marlon, again, thank you. I'm going to thank you on my behalf, but also on the behalf of all the community and the people who watch this interview. So thank you very much. And then we are going to conclude this interview. We had the chance to have one of the creators, one of the founders of one of the biggest community here in Rwanda, and which is doing so much for the people who would like to come back to the continent and know about Rwanda when they are here. So thank you for your time. I hope we will have the chance to do other interviews also on specific topic. And yeah, it was just great having you. I'm asking every time one question to my guests when they are on the channel is about how we say goodbye in their mother tongue. So I know that in Jamaica people speak English, but you have your own English, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
What is the proper way to say goodbye in Jamaica?
We have a few, you know. One is later, or little more. So in a little bit more time, I'll see you.
Yeah.
Little more. Actually, that's my favorite. Little more.
Okay.
Good people. Little more.
Okay. And as we say in my mother tongue, in Togo, in Mina, you know about it. Ezande.